And this week in week 14, the season's winding down. We got 5 more weeks to have fun with. Last week, I had a 2-1 record, Stokes, on Luka's locks, but technically we did lose units. I think it was a total of 0.2 something or 0.3 something. The Steelers shockingly lost to the Cardinals. So, of course, they did not cover 6.5. It was great for the Bills, not good for the wallet. But we are back this week for my locks. I believe you prepared some yourself as well.
I've got 2.
Awesome. Last time Stokes was on, he went 2-0. He not only went 2-0, I believe he crushed those. I'm pretty sure those babies were seemingly locked up by the end of third quarters, it felt like, if I recall. They were a while back, but we're glad to have you back, Stokes.
Yeah.
And we're going to go to the first one here, Stokes, where I'm going to take everyone to another game of the weekend. There are some quality games this weekend, but the Sunday night game is the Eagles at the Cowboys. We saw, of course, the Eagles' last Bills game where they finished it, but then they got stomped by the Niners, and the Cowboys kind of have everything going for them. It's a weird situation where normally Josh tees it up for me. How do you feel about this game real quick before then I give my lock? What do you think about the Cowboys and Eagles, with the Cowboys, mind you, getting 3, or with the Eagles, mind you, getting 3.5 points as they are in Dallas?
So I think that the question would be surrounding how healthy Jalen Hurts is. So that I think that's why they're getting the potential 3.5, and I think that is candy if I'm a gambler, because these types of games, they should be close, and the Eagles Cowboys, that big time rivalry, and Jalen Hurts, I think that whether he's hurt or not, if he's out there, he's going to be effective. So I'd be surprised if he's not an effective player out there. So I would think that the Eagles are. I would try to take that as a gift from Vegas, but Vegas, Vegas does what Vegas does.
I like how you put that. Vegas does what Vegas does. That's absolutely right. Yeah. It's one of those lines where I truly had to kind of double and triple check it. I could not believe. Yes, the old saying is home team gets 3 points. So effectively, in that philosophy or in that mindset, you would believe this to be a coin flip game that slightly leans to the Cowboys. But I do think the Hurts injury plays into it and everything of that nature. I just don't understand it overall, though. You have the Eagles plus the hook against a Cowboys team that, look, in a couple of weeks, we get Cowboys Dolphins. I have already called that the Fugazi Bowl. I do not believe in either of those teams. And one of them, the Cowboys, is playing in this game against a 10-win Eagles team that is somehow a dog. Yes. Give me the Eagles plus 3.5 all day, every day. This is probably the last time this season you will see the Eagles as dogs, let alone 3+ dogs. It's like, yeah, I need that in my wallet. If this wasn't a lock to me, it would be criminal in a sense. I know it's slightly to the public, but overall, man, it is candy, and candy tastes good, and I'd rather enjoy it than let it sit on the table and go to waste. So yes, give me Eagles plus 3.5. Sorry. All right, Stokes. Do you have 2 this week?
Yes, I've got 2.
All right. I don't know what Stokes has. I don't believe he typed them up anywhere for me. So I'm just going to kick it over to you, Stokes. What is your first lock of this week?
Okay, so my first lock is there was a lot of stuff surrounding what's going on with the Jets this week. Aaron Rodgers came out and sort of defended Zach Wilson, sort of confirmed what was said. It's a lot of I don't know what was going on there, or rather, he said, "Well, yeah, Zach did say that, but homeboy shouldn't have told somebody that." So I feel like this is going to be the moment where the Jets are going to rally around their quarterback, and the defense is going to go out and try to make a statement against CJ Stroud, rookie quarterback, as great as he has been, rookie quarterback against what's one of the better defenses in football. Zach Wilson, he hasn't been great, but giving him 3.5 points with that type of defense, Tim Boyle was terrible. So I don't think that Zach Wilson is going to be any worse than that. So I would take the Jets getting 3.5, and this is going to be. I think this is going to be a rallying moment for the Jets.
I love the thought in this. I will say, Stokes, when this line opened up at 6, I hopped on +6 as fast as you possibly could. I was like, there's no way they trot Tim Boyle back out there. And anything you put back out there will be better than that. So the line will already move. Once they announce Zach Wilson, yes, Zach Wilson's been awful, but he can still give you things. I mean, the Jets Chiefs game, he's a questionable call and maybe making a play or two more away from winning that game against the Kansas City Chiefs. And I don't think he ever sees the bench if he actually beats Mahomes in that duel. He probably would still be benched because the Jets are the Jets. But overall, I love your thoughts on this. I think giving them 3.5 against a rookie CJ Stroud, as great as he's been, this is a very, very good defense, and you could see a dip in his play. I love that thought. I love that what you're thinking in that. That is a great pick out of you. The second pick I have, we're going to Monday night. I haven't touched a Monday night game in a while on these things, and we have 2 of them this weekend. One of them is probably not the one you're going to be watching. I mean, both of them aren't great, but at least one is maybe going to be a little bit more competitive, being the Packers and Giants. That's not the one we're touching here, Stokes. We are going to go to Miami because we're going to visit the Titans, going to Miami to play the Dolphins. This is one where you got to go off kind of the face of the books a little bit here. You got to dig a little deep, and I was digging a little deep. And I know off air we talked, or I at least told you what my 3 locks would be, just so you had a reference point. And you even mentioned that you had your eye coincidentally on this one yourself. And I find that great. That makes me feel even better, Stokes, because someone else dug a little deep and saw something that was kind of eye-opening on these lines. And it just, even though it is a higher number, just feels like it isn't high enough. Tennessee's an awful team. Tennessee is awful. Their defense is not great. And everything and some just feeds into Monday night beatdown where the Dolphins showcase everything they could possibly do to the world with Tyreek, with Devin Achane, another week back. I love to say Achane, though. It hurts me saying Achane every time. All of that offense, all of that speed against this Tennessee team that is just, that defense is just not good. There's no speed. There's nothing to help them. Yeah, the team total being only at 30.5 is criminally low. It almost feels like. Give me Dolphins over 30.5 against a Titans defense that I genuinely am out of ideas. Even their best defender, their interior defensive lineman in Simmons is going to be out, I do believe. It's like, what do they have that they could possibly stop this Dolphins team? Tua, of course, is kind of a one-read timing quarterback. I don't think he's going to be getting disrupted or have any issues in seeing what he's seeing downfield. And if he is not disrupted, if you are not able to get him looking for a second read anywhere, 31 points seems very easily obtainable for an offense that did earlier this season against what seems to be a better Broncos defense than we thought, put up 70. So yeah, give me Dolphins team total over 30.5. Yes, please. And thank you.
Yeah, I don't have any qualms with that. And as you mentioned, I was looking at that as well. Like 31 points for an offense as dynamic as this one. You just know there's going to be one play where Tyreek is past the defense. And it's just a matter of whether the ball hits him, and the ball has been hitting him. So it's that offense is really really tough to defend for the non good defenses in the NFL, and the Titans don't qualify as a good defense. So yeah, they're going to score points in bunches. It's going to be Monday night in Miami. I think they're going to go out there to try and make a statement for sure. So yeah, I couldn't echo that anymore.
Yeah, great. Yeah, it's just crazy to me that this total to me still should be 37 at least.
Yeah,
Like this should
I
be
could definitely see
much,
it.
much higher. So yeah, that's my second pick, Stokes. What do you got as your other pick for this week's locks?
Okay, it's another team total, and it's a little bit closer to home. It's the Buffalo Bills. The team total for this week for them is 24.5. I think with the way the Bills offense has looked these last couple weeks, it is really difficult to see how they are going to be consistently stopped. As we mentioned, the Chiefs defense is on paper very good, but they have been able to get touched over the last little bit. So thinking that they're going to hold the Bills to 24 or less, it just doesn't seem like something logical, and especially after what they've done over the last couple of weeks against the Jets and then the Eagles, that leads me to believe that they're not going to be in a situation where they're just going to be consistently stopped. So over 24 and a half. I mean, and obviously I predicted 28 points. So easy peasy. If I'm right here, then maybe I'm right there. So that seemed like a little bit too low for me for a situation where the Bills versus the Chiefs, like they tend to have these games where Allen's locked in and he's doing his thing.
Yeah. I finishing note, perfect. Allen's locked in, back against the wall, needs to get it done. He's going to try to do everything in his arsenal, in his power, to get the ball in the end zone or get points on the board, however it needs to happen. 24 and a half. It's a sizable number in a big game on the road in Arrowhead, but for an offense that's trending upwards like it is with the performance that they're coming off of in Philadelphia, I like that pick a lot. 24 and a half does seem a little bit low in that case. That's a bold lock. I will say, Stokes, I just had to go back and look it up real quick. You were 2-0 with your back in week 5, taking the Falcons -1.5 and Bengals -3 in those weeks. And that would put you plus, I believe, 1.6 units, just for the record. So it's out there.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone understands what record is on the line this week for Stokes. He has his 2 picks being, and I'll put them back up. These are Stokes' 2 picks, Jets +3.5 and Bills team total over 24.5. Now, further ado, the last lock of the weekend, the 2-unit play that I like this weekend. We are going to go. Obviously, I picked a Monday night game, so we're not going to do anything later than that. We're going to go back to the 4 o'clock slate. And there's a divisional game that I kind of had my eyes on. And I wasn't even aware of this line until today when someone told me what it was, and it made absolutely no sense. I genuinely had to be like, okay, there has to be a lot of money on the other side. There has to be something that's going on that completely pushed it in this favor because it just doesn't make sense. But in all reality, it's kind of sat where it was the whole week. And it feels like this feels like one where the Sharps are really trying to just dangle something in front of you and get you going. But there is no way or fashion that anyone in their right mind should lay money on the Chargers. So we're in LA with Broncos at Chargers, and somehow the Broncos are +2.5 in this matchup where they have opportunity and playoffs in front of them. And the Chargers are just trying to fight for a coach that I don't even know if they want to fight for in the first place, who could only put up 6 points and drop every ball in front of them against a Patriots defense that even had Mitch Trubisky put 18 up on them this past Thursday. Yeah, give me the Broncos +2.5 at the Chargers. That is insane. And you're even getting it at a very good line right now. -104 on FanDuel, -108 on DraftKings. They're favorable lines. It's not your typical -110 or worse for the juice. I just don't see a world. I will be honest, Stokes. I wanted to make this even better and put a money line because I truly do not see a world where the Broncos lose this game. There's just way too much at stake for them with a great coach versus a very bad coach, one that should be fired tomorrow, and a team that is spiraling downwards. How are they favorites? Yes, it's at home, but the fakest home in the NFL is LA. Why are you giving them 3-point respect? It just, nothing about this makes sense. So if you're going to hand me 2.5 points, just in case, the Chargers find something to win by 1, give me that all day long. But realistically, I think the Broncos win this game. So I will happily take the less juiced 2.5 points that you are willing to give me.
Yeah. It is given their trajectories, it doesn't make a lot of sense with the way the Broncos have played the last month and a half, and the way the Chargers have played the last month. It just seems very, very odd. And I guess it's, as you said, the home team getting the 3, that type of thing. But this just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I would take the Broncos if I had to. I would probably stay away from this game just because of the 2.5. If I was going to bet it, I'd probably give it a little juice. The plus B is probably like minus 120, 125, something in that range, just for that comfort of the the last second field goal to win the game for the Chargers if that's the case, and you can see that putting them at 3 or whatever. But I don't think that the Chargers are going to win this game. I think that Staley he's not fit to be the head coach for Justin Herbert anymore. And I don't trust the squad, but I do. If you had me, map out who the best players in this game are, 2 of the first 3 or 4 would be Chargers. So that's where they could make that difference because Herbert, he's a better quarterback than Russell Wilson. The pass rush is better than the Broncos. So if those 2 things can be factors, the Chargers could win it. But the other factors lead me to believe that the Broncos are going to win the game.
Yeah, for sure. I will say the responsible thing, Stokes, would probably be buying that point or half point to get the 3, or sometimes what I even like to call the overtime insurance. You just essentially probably should do that. I did see 3.5, I believe on FanDuel was minus 148 or something, very juiced up. 3 at DraftKings, I want to say was minus 123. If you don't feel comfortable with your 2.5, I fully understand that. Trust me, I am not one that also likes to bet 2.5s. But when you're going to give it to me on a team that I feel like should be a 3-point favorite, not a 3-point dog, yeah, I'll just take the 2.5, especially with juice not even fully there. So yeah, that is this week's Luka's Locks. Just to recap it one last time for the clip and everything like that. I have Eagles plus 3.5 at the Cowboys. Dolphins team total over 30.5. Stokes also likes that himself for the record. And then Broncos plus 2.5 at Chargers. And just to flash it up on screen here, let me just scroll through here so I can get it one last time. Stokes himself putting his perfect 2-0 record and plus units on the line with Jets plus 3.5 and Bills team total over 24.5. And that, my friends, is Luka's Locks.